The Letratone story, part 3. And this part of the story issued from the fact that, again, this stuff was pretty expensive. I think by the time that I'm telling this part of the story, it should be the mid to late 1980s. Gerhardt and I were probably paying about $10 a sheet for Letratone, and using up a fair amount of it because every image of Cerebus needed to be toned, and particularly with the LT3. This is LT10, which is slightly smaller dots, but LT3, which was the larger dots, anytime you had a giant face of Cerebus, there was probably a good $10 worth of tone right there, considering how much you had to take out of the sheet and how much you would have left over after toning a giant Cerebus. So I went, hey, this isn't rocket science, I don't suppose. Why can't I get Prenny Print and Litho to print Cerebus tone? It should be pretty basic. It's just, here's what tone looks like. Took a sheet of tone down to Windsor, and here's how it works. Peeled back the film to show Kim and Dick. Here's the concept. Just take a photo of a fresh sheet of LT3, and then just produce some. It's like, I think I've probably put Letratone's kids through college by now, paying these Letratone prices for a good 10 or 15 years. Let's see if we can find an end run around these guys. And it's like, Prenny was more than willing, so they went, well, okay, it should be pretty basic. It's in terms of what is this physically. The most popular brand name for adhesive film on a wax paper background was stuff called Chart Pack. So, okay, they'll order 10 by 15 sheets of Chart Pack and just start printing Chart Pack Letratone. And it's like, this is great. So you let me know when you have a batch done. I thought this was very funny. They not only did the tone, they even copied the Letraset typeface and called it Prenny Tone for Cerebus LT3. And as you can see, it's on a much heavier carrier than the wax paper Letratone was using, but it's like, I'm not fussy about that. I just, how much does it cost to print this? And I think it was maybe $1.50 a page, $2 a page. So okay, we're gonna be making out like bandits. And that was when I found out something about Letratone that I hadn't known, which is quality control. You can see at the top of this sheet, when I did my first experiment with Prenny Tone for Cerebus, it's no, this isn't 30%. I know 30% in terms of that's how dark it is, like I know the back of my own hand. Probably more than I know the back of my own hand. So it's like, okay, what is this? And it's like, well, I know the other gradations as well. So I've crossed out the 30% at the top and have written 40%. This is much closer to 40 than it is to 30. And this was true across all of that batch of Prenny Tone that they had created. This sheet, Goldilocks spot, I'll say it's maybe a 34%. This one's maybe 27%. It's lighter instead of darker. And at that point I went, well, there's one of those things where the Letraset company couldn't make excuses for that. Everybody that was using Letratone, if you bought a 30% tone, LT3, you wanted dots a specific size and it had to be exactly 30%, which means the wastage, how many sheets they had to produce that weren't exactly 30% before they actually had a sellable 30% sheet of tone. Boggles the imagination. So thus ended the Prenitone for Cerebus experiment. But nice idea, just wasn't going to fly. So next week, God willing, we will have Letratone Part 4. And I hope we'll see a bunch of you then.